A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Sorry. A Knight of the Nine Kingdoms, Season 1, Episode 6. And this episode, as the final episode of Season 1 of the show, is a very Game of Thrones type of finale, which is the second last episode is kind of what we always think what a finale is. The big kablooey, big action sequence, big battle sequence, and then the last episode is more like an epilogue or kind of setting up future seasons, right? And for this episode, it's able, like, I saw the one time, I'm like, 31 minutes. I don't know if you can do this in 31 minutes. And then I paused and said to myself, yeah, you can do it in 31 minutes. I mean, technically, all you need to do is talk about the aftermath and have the reason of, uh, Trigon and Duncan being together for future seasons. That's all you need to do. And they do that, and it's dealt with a really natural way. It feels a natural conclusion. Of course, the post-credit scene with finding out that Trigon has lied to Duncan and his father, because Migas Trigon said, and goes and says to his father that, hey, I'll be there, I'll be, running to wherever this part of the kingdom, whatever. And then, and of course he lies, but of course he doesn't show up, and of course he lies to Duncan, saying, oh, my father gave you the okay. I'm like, there's gonna be one big misunderstanding. I'm thinking Duncan is going to get accused for stealing the king. Oh, sorry, stealing the prince. Because he's. Yeah, that's what it's probably going to be. It's going to be him basically accused for, kidnapping the prince, because the last time that the king and Duncan had a conversation, it was trying to convince Egg, Trigon, however you want to call him, to tag along and go on this adventure and go on the same journey that he had when he was his age and all that kind of stuff. And of course, the father's like, I'm not letting my lost son, who's the heir of the dragon, the blood of the dragon, to be in pedal mud and stuff like that. And it's gonna be one big misunderstanding. It's gonna be one big misunderstanding. Now, but the rest of it, like, on its own, works pretty well. I mean, there's a bit of bondage. You can understand, like, even though there was a bit of misunderstanding and lies, or not telling the truth or the whole truth between our main two characters, you can tell the bond is very strong. That the bond between these two characters are quite strong. So even though there's differences, and as much as Duncan's saying, I think I'm tired of princes, um, he is, he's basically he's like, okay, but I like this kid. I get along with this kid. He can be my squire. He can do, he can be my squire. Um, and that. Um, Now, them talking about the aftermath of what happened last week, I would say this. I think is the whole question of Duncan questioning himself feels very natural. I mean, him as a character is like, this is a person who's like, I put this person in, like, the good Targaryen in this situation, and he died. I should have died. I should be dead, not the other way around. So that's an interesting. I thought, like, okay, that felt natural, and it is probably a way to talk about, like, talk about what happened last week without, like, fully, basically fully making it such a big deal, or not such a big deal. That's not the right word, but like really hanging on. But look, for a final episode that treats itself like an epilogue, it's not about an epilogue. And of course, everyone's curious what they're gonna be calling season 2. I think they'll call season 2 Knights of the Nine Kingdoms. Probably a Knight of the Nine Kingdoms or the Seven Kingdoms. I mean, probably branding wise, they might call it Knight of the Seven Kingdoms for branding's sake, just for like a brand. But now knowing there's 2 other kingdoms, the question is, why are we keep saying 7? Is it just because that's what people have been told? There's only been 7 kingdoms, or is there an actual reason behind it? That's the question. Maybe there are only 2 kingdoms. Yeah, maybe there were 9 kingdoms, and then there were 9 kingdoms, and then something happened in 100 years. Because here's the thing, a lot can happen in 100 years, and there's a lot of things. And this show takes place 100 years after the events of Game of Thrones. At that point now, like 99 years or 98 years since the events of Game of Thrones. Seems like they really do want us to feel that timeline. Okay, like yeah. Here's a question. Now knowing that apparently George R. R. Martin is writing a play of the Man King, are we gonna like? How does it end? Does it end with John? Does it end with the birth of Cersei and Daenerys and all that? Like, look, it's baby Daenerys. It's baby Cersei. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look, it's Jamie. Oh, those 2 characters are gonna really love each other. Yes, they're gonna really love each other. That's a bit of a gross joke. I apologize for that. But anyway, if you've seen the episode, let me know your thoughts and what you thought of the season as a whole. Because I quite like this episode. Quite like the season. It is very interesting watching like 6 episodes and it's like half an hour. But if you want the full hour, we got June. Got House of the Dragon. If you want the full epic Game of Thrones. But anyway, comment below and let me know your thoughts.